Hi everyone and welcome back to Inside STLC. In this video we're going hands-on with manual testing. What it is, why it's vital today, and how you can start practicing right now using free demo sites. Whether you're brand new to QA or already learning automation, manual testing is the foundation you must master first. How on earth are you going to write good automation tests if you don't know what you need to test? And manual testing will give you that grounding. So what is manual testing? Manual testing means verifying software functionality without using automation tools. It's all about human observation, following test scripts, test cases, step by step. And these help you then find issues within the system that might not be easily found via other methods, such as automation. So think of it like being a QA detective. You explore the app, compare results to expectations, and look for anything that feels off. Automation might test fast, but humans test smart. So why does manual testing still matter even in 2025? Manual testing is still everywhere. It's essential for catching usability issues, design flaws, accessibility gaps, and verifying complex workflows that automation scripts can't cover or could miss. Manual testing adds empathy. You experience the product like a real user, and that perspective is something automation can't replace. So manual testing for me is still vital. To be a good manual tester, first of all, you have to be analytical in mind. Being able to look at requirements, understand what it is that they're looking to achieve, how it's going to be implemented, communicating with developers to find out how they're going to write the code or implement the application. This then will help you identify what you need to test. So, what is the manual testing process? So let's break down the typical manual testing workflow. First of all, understand the requirements. That is the first part of a project. So whether that's a business analyst, a stakeholder, a product owner, for example, who is creating those requirements. What is it that they're looking for the application, system, website, etc. to do? Do you understand it? If you do, that's great. You can ask further questions. If you don't, look in between the lines. What happens if I do this? What happens if a user does that? And from that, then you should be able to then create what we call test scenarios and test cases. So these are step-by-step guides to log onto the system, enter a username, a password, click sign in, for example. But what about all the other tests that you could cover there? As long as a test maps up to a requirement, then that's a valid test case. So the next step is, once you've created those tests and mapped them against requirements to make sure that everything that you wanted to be delivered is being delivered, then you execute those tests. So those tests then get executed manually. So you go through step by step the application, executing each step as you go, marking them as passed or failed, depending on whether it does satisfy or meet those expectations. So once that's done, you would then sign off. You would say this test is now passed, mark it as passed. You would attach test evidence. So that is, this is how I tested it. So that could be in the form of screenshots or videos, for example. And then you mark each step as passed. Attach that evidence to the test script and you're done. Pass that through then to be reviewed, whether that's by a product owner or it moves on to the next phase of testing, and that's absolutely fine. So that's a typical day for a manual tester. So let's take a look at a real world example now. We'll use the demo site OrangeHRM, which let you practice freely. So let's go to the website. Let's try logging in with valid and invalid credentials. So this would be two types of tests that you would do. What we would call a valid, positive, happy path test, and also an invalid test as well. So we're testing around the application. So we would enter valid credentials, and our expectation from that would be that we're logged in. If we enter invalid credentials, we'd expect the system to give us an error back or not allow us to access the system. This would have been laid out in the requirements of what should actually happen each time. So you would write your test cases against those, execute them. What you would also do at that point as well is something called exploratory testing. But again, we'll cover that on another video. Okay, so now we've entered invalid characters, but it still allowed us to log in. Well, that's not what the system should be doing. That's not how it's documented. Now is the perfect time to log a defect. In that, you would describe what happened. What did you do? What were the steps that you took? What data did you enter? What buttons did you click? Again, great opportunity to attach test evidence. So that again could be in the form of a video, could be in the form of screenshots, or just a step-by-step walkthrough. So when the developer gets the bug back, he can look at the defect and understand what it is that you did to replicate it. And that's what manual testers do every single day. How do you write a good test case? So every good test case should include the following: a test case ID. This then maps to a requirement or an acceptance criteria. Again, that's something that we'll come on to later on to actually understand that mapping process. It should have a description and a title. So obviously the title should be clearly displaying what it is that you're looking to test, and the description should be saying how you're going to test it. The steps to execute. So this could be in the form of a list. Do this, do that, enter this, click this. What the expected result should be at each of those steps. So I enter a username, my username field is populated. That would be the expected result. And then you would also have an actual result as well. So you'd leave a space for that. Yes, I was able to add a valid username. And then a status. So this is a pass, a failed, on hold, in progress, depending on the tool that you're using, or whether you're using something like Excel, you can come up with your own statuses. So we'll verify login with valid credentials. So the steps would be enter a correct username and password, click login, expected result, dashboard opens successfully. Write clearly, keep it repeatable, and always tie it back to requirements. That is the key. That is where you can then sign testing off, and anybody who wants to view that in the future, who's not maybe a tester, but other people's in the project, can then understand, yes, that's been tested, I can see that now satisfied this requirement, and we're good to go. So what are common manual testing mistakes? Even experienced testers slip up sometimes, and here are a few common mistakes to avoid. Skipping the requirements phase. I can't emphasize this enough of how vital this is. If you don't understand what it is that we're looking to achieve from the system, from the application, from the website, or whatever it is, how on earth are you going to write valid tests? Understand the requirements, ask questions, look between the lines. This is your opportunity now to do something that we call static testing. And again, that's something that we'll probably come on to on a later video and delve a little bit deeper into that as well. Another mistake is writing vague test cases, not really fully understanding what it is that you're testing, how you're going to do it, what you're expecting to see, but very sort of woolly, vague, and really difficult to sort of follow and understand whether actually you've achieved what you were looking to achieve. Badly worded defects. So you're not putting things in like replication steps. What did you actually do before you saw this bug? What actions did you take? What data did you input? What environment were you on? What user were you using, for example? These are all things that will help the rest of the project. It isn't just a case of just throwing things over a wall and hoping. We need to work as a team in this whole software development and delivery lifecycle. So attention to detail is key for a QA. That is what your bread and butter is, and I tell you this every single time. Be an analyst, look deeper, attention to detail. So even manual testers use great tools to stay organized. So for example, Jira or Bugzilla for tracking defects. You can also use TestRail, Google Sheets, or again Jira and its various plugins to actually write your test cases. You can capture evidence using things like Lightshot or snipping tools. That'll help you capture screenshots and also videos. So these keep your testing consistent, shareable, and professional. We'll cover more around tooling again on another video, and I'll talk you through some of the most main testing tools out there and how to use them. So that's your step-by-step introduction to manual testing. Hopefully you found that really interesting. If you do have any more questions that you don't think that we've covered, or you want to ask questions about things that we have covered, please put them in the comments below or use the community tab as well on this channel. So in the next video, we're going to explore automation testing for beginners, where you'll learn how to build on these manual foundations using real tools. And we'll also do a further manual testing video where we delve even deeper into what manual testing is. This was a very good introduction, a beginner's guide. Should give you everything that you need to be able to start. So if you found this helpful, hit subscribe. And remember, test smarter, grow faster. Goodbye.